persuasive. Very, very persuasive because, yes, I do speak a lot. This is not my comfort zone. I don't enjoy doing it. I do it because, as she said, there's people that need to see the real person. So today, normally when I get out and give a presentation, I'm standing behind the podium. I'm reading a speech that I have written down to the point where I've got every pause, every dot, everything written down because I want to portray this certain image. So when I was trying to sit there and do this and write this out, I kept saying, Lord, tell me what I need to say, what I need to do. Every time he would just say, just tell me about me. I said, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to write it out. I'm trying to figure it out. And it would never come together, y'all. I could never get it written down. So literally, what was it? Where was Sylvia at? Thursday morning, 1 in the morning, my sister's here. I literally called her, and I was going down the road. I was having a moment. I was crying driving home. Because I said, I can't get it together. I can't get it together. I said, he keeps just telling me, tell him about me. So today, I'm going to tell you about how he has positioned me to propel. Because I know I didn't get here by myself. There's nothing that I've done in my life. It's not because of the way he has positioned me throughout life to make things work out. Some of you may know I'm the youngest of 10. 2 of my sisters are here. I know they're going to kill me for calling them out, but I like my little support system. A lot of people have a sorority sister. Somebody else have these. I got my real sisters because there's 7 girls and 3 boys in the family. So anytime we do something, I always call on them and they show up. So thank you. Because growing up, we all had to be a close-knit family. I'm going to tell you something today that most people don't know. In that close-knit family of us growing up, being the youngest of 10, we grew up in a house with a mom that was mentally ill. Nobody knew that outside our family for the most part. We kept that close because back then, you didn't talk about that kind of thing. You didn't tell folks about that kind of thing because it wasn't something that was talked about. Mental health is not talked about. So we became a real close-knit family. We took care of each other. And everybody asks now, why y'all so close? Because that's all we knew. We knew how to be close. We knew how to do stuff. We knew how to make sure that we were all taken care of amongst ourselves. Because probably about like age 10 or 12, I could probably cook you a gourmet meal because we all had to cook what we did. We grew up on a farm. I'm talking about cows, pigs, and everything. So Daddy had us out there shucking corn. Yeah, I'm telling everything. I told you I'm being real. But I have to show you that because people see Kim here. They don't realize I was a country girl. We were the country cousins. We were the cousins that the aunts and stuff didn't necessarily want at their house. There was a bunch of us. But we were also the country cousins. We weren't always dressed up in pretty dresses or whatever. We were little dirty kids out there playing in the dirt. I mean, that's where we were. So people need to see where you come from to understand that it was God that positioned you in certain places. So yes, I'm going to tell it all. At least some of them. But because of that, now I lost my train of thought, sorry. But like I said, it was the cows, the pigs, and the farm life growing up. So one of the funny stories I always tell is Daddy in the wintertime would actually literally go and when the pigs were born in the wintertime, bring them in the house because he didn't want them to freeze outside. So one of the funny stories I always tell is the pig story because people laugh and say, you actually accept the pigs? I said, yeah, but it was because he kept them in a little box right there. So I was a little kid being nosy. I would literally go lay by the little box right there and sleep with pigs. So that's one of my funny stories I always tell because people can't see me sleeping with pigs. It's all good. But back to the reason why we're so close is that mental illness taught all of us how to be a close-knit family. Because even though Mama was sick, she still fought to be our mom. She fought daily to make sure she could still do the stuff to try to be our mom, even fighting through the mental illness. And we all knew that. So we did stuff to make sure that it was easy for her as much as we could. And then it also taught us patience. Me and my sister Stacy, the one that's right older than me, we look back on stuff we were, matter of fact, talking about last time she was at home, was the stuff we kind of went through and some of the stuff that we didn't realize wasn't not normal kind of thing, because we didn't know any different. So it's just stuff that happens in your life you go through, and then you get out now and talk to people out in the community, you just don't know what's going on with certain things. So it's just one of those things you learn and grow from. but it also makes you humble and appreciate stuff as you're going up. I tell you that backstory to let you know that also during that time, I was always known as such and such little sister. Being the youngest of 10, you kind of... So, a lot of my siblings went off to A&M, or they went off to school and different stuff, and they stayed right here, so I was going to be rebellious. I went down the street to UNA, because I didn't want to be known as such and such little sister. So I kept doing those kind of things to try to position myself to find my identity. So when I went off to UNA, I thought I wanted to be a nurse. Life happens. I got to nursing school and realized, no. When you walk into that place, and I actually started working on my clinicals, working in the hospital, and I was literally going home crying every day because I am an emotional person. And I couldn't see taking care of that patient and stuff wasn't changing, stuff wasn't happening. That person can get better, or you come back the next day to work and that person passed away or expired while you're gone. That hurt every day. I said, I can't deal with this. I can't hold that inside me every day. They're like, well, you'll get used to it. And I said, that's something I don't want to get used to. Right. So it got to the point where I literally quit school. And I went back home. I got married. That marriage didn't quite work out. So I had a young daughter at the time. And I didn't know what I wanted to do or how I wanted to figure it out or what I was going to do next. So I started, well, at that time when I was married, he was actually stationed in Hawaii. My oldest daughter was actually born in Hawaii. He was a military guy. So we were over there, and I was miserable and scared and by myself and not trying to figure out what to do. And to the point where my daughter was actually born at 33 and a half weeks. She was 3 pounds, 13 ounces when she was born. And I was over there by myself, and my sisters came to the rescue again. So when they all got together and sent one of my other sisters over there to take care of me, to help me get back normal and stuff. So we went through that whole thing. Like I said, the marriage didn't work. So here I am with a single mom, raising my young daughter, Sandi, by myself trying to figure it out. So I was struggling. I didn't want to move back home at that time because I had moved away, living in Birmingham after a little stint in Atlanta. But that didn't work out. Anybody from Atlanta? That's some crazy traffic. So while I was in Birmingham, I just couldn't make ends meet. I couldn't figure out how to make it work. So I started working nights and weekends on what I call the side hustle. I was working at the hospital because I was able to take the skills I had learned in nursing school and the IT degree I had gotten eventually from Calhoun to start doing healthcare IT work. So that's what I was doing in the hospital. So on nights and weekends, there were several hospitals that would say, hey, I need somebody to help me do some things on the side. So it worked out, put Sandi to bed, and I'd start doing this stuff. Well, it got to the point where I was actually able to leave my full-time job and start working at PROJECTXYZ full-time. So that's how I was saying that the Lord can position you to propel, because I had went through nursing school, through a divorce, single mom, trying to figure it out, and here I am, going to step out on faith and start my own company. It's scary, because I was the only breadwinner. I was the only one that was there to take care of my daughter. So to step out on faith and to do that was a scary thing because I didn't know if I could do it. And luckily I did have my family support because they helped me through a lot of that at first. They watched Sandi for me, they kept her for me. Actually, Sylvia, she lived with you for a little while there. And I was on the road all the time, so I was trying to hustle and make this work. So that's how I'm saying he positioned me in certain positions to get to that point. Well, as time went on, PROJECTXYZ, PROJECTXYZ grew to the point where it was me, and every now and then I would hire a couple of people here and there. Well, during that time frame, I met my husband now, Larry, and Larry came over, I started in 2002, he came over and joined me in 2007. And during that time frame, his past performance had all been in government contracting, figuring out a way to make all that work. So his IT skills from that side and my IT skills from the government side, and that's where I met Dr. Owens. You talk about a powerful woman. She has been a mentor, friend, and everything to me for a long time. So for me to be up here talking, instead of you, it's a whole nother thing. But through that, he was able to take his skills and my skills, and we matched them together, and we were able to grow PROJECTXYZ now to a point where we're almost 100 people. And it has grown and migrated, we've been able to hire different people on staff and stuff to get to a point where it's not just me anymore, it's me and a whole lot of other people. So you're talking about positioning. I'm responsible not just for my family anymore, I'm responsible for almost 100 other people's family too. So that's a whole other burden that he has put me in, but it's making me conscious of it to make sure that the decisions we make and the things we do are always thinking about that. But one of the things that when we first started trying to grow and stuff, we actually went and talked to Huntsville's incubator called BizTech. And BizTech is supposed to be a mentor type of company that's supposed to help you grow and move on and everything. We went in and they said, thanks, but no thanks. So we went on and kept going, and as we say, we bootstrapped and got the company growing and kept moving on. Well, back in 2012, we were looking for a new home for Project XYZ. And we would drive by that BizTech building, and we see a for sale sign. So me and Larry called, and they were like, yeah, they had this outrageous price. And we were like, never mind. So we kept looking for another place to go. Just so happened, I ran into the guy that was the interim CEO of the company. He says, well, come make us an offer, and we'll see what happens. BizTech was actually going out of business. Me and Larry actually went in, bought BizTech. The building and everything. He was able to do that. He put us in that position to be able to go back, and now we're in the business of mentoring other companies to get them to the point. And that's all because I know he put us in those certain positions, because when they first told us to price the building, we said no. But had I not run into that man at a certain meeting, talking about being in places and being at the table at the right time, he says, Kim, it's all a formula right now. The bank is in foreclosure. You make the right offer, the bank's going to make a deal. They don't want to go through that whole process. So if you can play off that loan, they'll be glad to do it. So here we are able to do that and make a profit, plus help tons and tons of people here in the community. So now Larry's actually the CEO of BizTech, and we've been able to help, I can't tell you how many companies here in the community. We've revitalized the building, and it's become a staple here in the community. Yes. So as time goes on, we've just realized that there's opportunities that we've been presented with that we want to be able to share and grow and stuff too. So people always ask, why are you so embedded in the community? Why are you so engaged and want to help so much? Because I see stuff that happens, because I am at the table sometime. And I see sometimes I'm the only female at the table, the only woman of color at the table. And to be the first African American woman to chair the Chamber of Commerce, yes, it's a great honor, but it's 2019. It's kind of hard to think that in all the years that the Chamber's been in existence, that it's 2019, and now it's the first time an African American woman's had that title. And there's only been 2 other African Americans that's had that title, and the last one was in 2000. Wow. So it's, as Larry, he always laughs at me because he says, everybody's excited about you. He said, but you earned that spot. You have worked your butt off in this community, at that chamber, and done stuff in this community to earn that spot. It was not given to you. So my goal is to make sure that I'm not the last one there. I'm bringing other people in. When I had the opportunity to fill out the board, the new board that's coming in, I actually made sure there were more minorities on there were more women on there, so there were other people to come in. And I got a lot of pushback from that. I mean, when you've got literally a room full of men sitting in front of you, and you've got to justify why you pick certain people for the board, it's kind of hard. But at the same time, if you don't do it, nobody else is going to take the job. So I took that initiative, had to fight a little bit, but we got some of it worked out. So through other things that we've been working on, I think Rashida mentioned we actually opened yesterday with a plan. You talk about a true positioning and a godsend. We met Darnell Ferguson. He's the gentleman. He calls himself Super Chef. He won the Thanksgiving Challenge on the Food Network last Thanksgiving. He's been on the Today Show just a couple weeks ago, and he's just one of these up-and-coming chefs. Well, we actually had a chance to meet him back in, we were trying to figure out the date, October of last year. And it was one of those things where it was a true chance. Somebody said, hey, you guys need to run up to Louisville and meet this guy. And we're like, we're not getting in the restaurant business. I know how to cook, but not to that extent. And he says, well, the food's really good, you need to go meet him. I said, well, we never did. Fast forward a couple weeks, they actually bring him down here and actually sent us into a tasting to test his food out. And I was like, okay, Larry, we gotta figure out a way to work with this because the food is that good. So we figured it out. He catered a Christmas party for us, and during that Christmas party, we actually met brought in the mayor of Tuscumbia, which is where Larry is from. The mayor actually said, hey, I've got a building down in Tuscumbia that has been sitting vacant for over 2 years. If you guys can figure out a way to make that work, we can have a new restaurant down here in Tuscumbia. Wow. So you talk about positioning, right time, space. He worked it out because we purchased that building in April and to open up yesterday. Yeah. That's a big change. I have to show y'all some of the pictures because from what it looked like then and now, that was a major renovation in 2 months. So that's why I know the Lord has put me in certain positions in a certain place at a certain time to make it all work out because I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have orchestrated it this way anyway by myself. So I just learned to trust him. I mean, one of the funny stories I always tell is because I remember going to a city when I was traveling a whole lot and literally getting lost, trying to figure out where I needed to go. GPS wouldn't work. Sometimes I always do a backup. I still print out sometimes a backup. Because GPS goes out here on the And I didn't do it that time, and I knew I had to get there. So I was driving along, and they had a detour. So through that detour, they had me go through some major roads and stuff too, because I was trying to find the place where I had to speak the next morning and actually go visit one of my customers. So I go through that detour and figure out where I need to go and finally make my way back. I knew it was the Lord that sent me through that detour because the very next morning, there was a traffic accident and I had to be at that place at 8 o'clock. Had I not known how to detour through that whole thing, I would not have gotten it. And so I have learned to trust when He teaches me stuff, even when it's hard, and even when I don't want to, to make sure it's because this is me being vulnerable. This is me telling you experiences that have happened in my life, me talking about how I know that certain things happen the way He intends for them to because, like I said, I'm not up here reading my script, being prim and proper. I'm just telling you that there's times where the Lord's going to put you in certain positions that you need to let somebody see your vulnerability so to let you know that you're real. So I thank you for this opportunity. And what I need to do.